गुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवार्षभानुवे देवे दायिताय कृपाब्दे कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञानदायिने प्रभुवे नमः माधुरोज्ज्वल प्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्ते दीनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्ध अपसिद्धान्तद्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्ते विप्रलम्बरसाम्बोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौर आविर्भावभूमिस्त्वं निर्दिष्टसज्जनप्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामने गौरवत्से नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी जयतां सुरतोपंगोर्वमन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपादाम्बोजो राधा मदन मोहनौ दिव्याद्वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमाध श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थित कर्षन् वेणुस्वनिर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रीयत्सुनः तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Since today is Ekadashi, we will have class only till 12:30 and maybe tomorrow from 11 to 1. Okay. Mm. So initially just we'll have a brief, we'll just go through it, and then we will read the Prabhupada's introduction to Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita as it is, so the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, this is just a summary. So Bhagavad Gita as it is, introduction given by Srila Prabhupada. So initially Prabhupada offers prayers, Om Jnanata Mirandasya until Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So basically, why do we offer prayers? So that we be in a proper humble submissive spirit to understand what is being presented by the author, that is Srila Prabhupada. And because without, Prabhupada also mentions that to understand the Bhagavad Gita, the proper spirit is the spirit of humble service or humble submission is very, very important. Without submission, we will not be able to understand Bhagavad Gita. So we'll start the introduction to Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada initially starts that there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita already. When Prabhupada went to America, already many Indian authors, Prabhupada also sometimes mentions Radha Krishna's Bhagavad Gita, Dr. Radha Krishna's Bhagavad Gita, and many people had already commented on Bhagavad Gita slokas, the 700 slokas, 18 chapters. So Prabhupada asks a question there, why another edition of Bhagavad Gita is required, right? So Prabhupada tells that there are many English translations already existing, but none are truly authoritative. Why they are not authoritative? Because everybody has basically explained their own things in the Bhagavad Gita, or they have expressed their own opinions without actually touching the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. So also Prabhupada tells that the authors have not touched the spirit of Bhagavad Gita, therefore they are not authoritative. And also Prabhupada, in the further down in the introduction, Prabhupada explains what is the actual spirit of the Bhagavad Gita. So the Bhagavad Gita must be understood as it is. Therefore, Prabhupada also names the Bhagavad Gita, his Bhagavad Gita as Bhagavad Gita as it is, or in Hindi it is Bhagavad Gita Yatharup, in Marathi it is Bhagavad Gita Jashi Ahi Tashi, right? So Bhagavad Gita has to be understood as it is. Just like Prabhupada gives an analogy that if you have to take a medicine, always behind the medicine, it will be written that the medicine should be taken as per the prescription of the doctor. So similarly, if you are taking the medicine without the prescription of the doctor, then there may be problems. Your health may get spoiled. Even though it is medicine, but there is no doctor, or if there is no authorized doctor, or if it is taken without the prescription of the doctor, what will happen is it may turn into poison. It may cause death also. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita slokas may be medicine, right? It may be nectar, but if we understand it through a Mayavadi philosopher or through a Sahajiya or somebody else, through Karmi, Jnani, then what will happen is those particular seeds we will derive or we will get. But Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has spoken basically to give pure devotional service, right? So therefore, if we understand it through the proper physician, like the proper physician is Sri Krishna or his bona fide representative Srila Prabhupada or a Vaishnava Guru, then what will happen is it will act as nectar or it will act as medicine. So Gita is spoken by Lord Sri Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is confirmed by Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbar Swami, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Krishna himself proclaims that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Gita mentions it, that Sri Bhagavan Vacha, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna accepted that Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So therefore, we should accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this is the proper spirit in which we can actually understand the Gita. Yeah, Lord Shri Prabhupada further mentions that this Bhagavad Gita was earlier also spoken in the Parampara disciplic succession. Krishna spoke it to Sun God many millions of years ago, and then in the disciplic succession through Sun God, Manu, and Ikshvaku, the Bhagavad Gita came down millions and millions of years ago. But because the succession was broken, therefore Krishna is again speaking this same Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, right? So why Krishna chose Arjuna? Because Krishna tells in the 4th chapter also, Bhakto simi sakacheti rahasyam etad uttamam. This Bhagavad Gita is rahasya, but I am speaking it to you because you are my bhakta. Bhakto simi, you are my bhakta, and sakacheti, you are my friend. Therefore, I am speaking this Bhagavad Gita, which was earlier spoken to Sun God, and I am again choosing you as a representative of Bhagavad Gita because you are my bhakta and you are my devotee and you are my friend. So Lord explains in the 4th chapter that this yoga system was originally spoken to the sun god Vyavasvan, who spoke it to Manu, who spoke it to Ikshvaku. Over time, the succession was broken, and therefore the Lord spoke it to again to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Yeah, in the introduction further, Prabhupada explains, because here Prabhupada tells there that if you want to understand the Bhagavad Gita, you have to be a devotee of Krishna in one of the 5 rasas, right? You have to be in a direct relationship with Krishna. If you are a devotee, Prabhupada tells that if you are a devotee, you are in direct relationship with Krishna. And direct relationship with Krishna means one of these 5 rasas or 5 relationships. What are they? Prabhupada tells passive or neutral reverence, right? That is Shantaras, active servant Dasyaras, Sakyaras, that is a friend, relationship as a friend, Vatsalyaras, relationship as a parent, Madhuryaras, relationship as a conjugal lover. So Arjuna was basically situated in Sakyaras, friendship with the Lord. So every living being has an eternal relationship with the Lord. That is called as the Swarupa or eternal relationship, Swarupa, which can be actually revived through devotional service, right? So somebody can tell me any examples of examples of different relationships. Any examples of Shantaras? Can somebody explain Give example.
For Shantaras, Balarama, Prabhuji. Like Balarama expands in the form of Golok Vrindavana and for Shantaras. And for Dasaras, we can take
See,
example as
Balram Ji's expansions that can be mentioned as Shantaras, but Balram Ji is in Sakyaras, and he also has parental affection for Krishna. So Balram Ji's expansions as Balram Ji's expansions as the spiritual world or the different paraphernalia of the Lord can be told as Shantaras. But Balram Ji himself is either in Sakyaras or in parental affection, right? Yes, Nikita Mataji,
Lord,
please unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Voice is not coming.
am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please remove that this thing. Last time also it was creating a problem. Your earphones, and now you can speak. I think it will our voice will come. Yes.
Hare
Yes, ma'am.
Krishna, now I am audible.
Yeah. Yes.
Lord's cow, flute, flower, stick.
Trees. So this is all Shantaras. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Swara Brahma Prabhu.
Prabhuji, in Dasarasa, Sri Krishna's friend in Vrindavana, like Chitrak, Patrak, these are in the Sakhyaras, and in Vatsalaras, Yashoda Mata and Nanda Maharaja are in the Vatsalaras.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Anybody else? So we have examples of Shantaras, we have examples of Dasaras, and Prabhuji also gave examples of Vatsalaras. So yes, Surabhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanapranam. Prabhuji, in Shantaras, there are examples of trees and dust of Vrindavan is also in Shantaras. In Dasaras, we can see many examples like Hanumanji is also an example of Dasaras. And in Sakyaras, there are many cowherd boys and gopis, cowherd friends of Krishna in Sakyaras.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Anybody else? Can somebody tell me the four Kumaras, in what ras they were? Four Kumaras, Sanak, Sanatan, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumar. Four Kumaras.
Hare Krishna. They are in Shantara, then they get attracted towards Dasya.
No, Prabhuji, they are in Shantaras only. Shantaras only. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned they are in Shantaras only. Shantaras.
Only Shantaras. Are they get attracted towards Bhakti?
Yeah, Shantaras is Bhakti only, na? We
But
are speaking
in
about
relation,
Bhaktam.
yeah, I understand that. But they are means Dasya or Sakya. Are they get attracted towards that?
See, Srimad Bhagavatam mentions that in the third canto where this description is there, it is mentioned it is in Shantaras.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, who is speaking? Yes, Abhishek Prabhu, your raised hand.
for Madhuryaras, Radharani and Ashtasakis Prabhu.
Yes. Okay, very nice. Anybody else wants to add something or we'll continue?
And even Ananga Manjari, by expansion of Balram. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Shukdev Goswami is in Shantaras, then they get attracted towards, they change their ras. Is it correct?
Shukdev Goswami, Shantaras. Yes. Dasaras is also there because he served, he was in active service, he was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Sunny Kumar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, Prahlada Narasimha is Shantaras or Dasaras?
Both. Prahlad is considered to be in Dasaras, Shantaras also and Dasaras also, both.
Okay.
Yes. So please remember, please understand that this Dasaras is common. Dasaras, consider that somebody may think that, Prabhuji, I don't know what is my rasa. So everybody has an eternal relationship with Krishna in the spiritual world, but common rasa that everybody can accept, that common rasa for everyone, there is Dasaras. That is, we can be in active service, we can be in a relationship with active service with the Lord. Okay. So no need to worry about what is my rasa in the spiritual world. That will be eventually be revealed when we advance in devotional service by our spiritual master. We need not go for Swarupa Siddhi, right? So as Prabhupada mentions in the introduction, by devotional service, that Swarupa Siddhi will be revealed, right? So many Babajis in Vrindavan tell that you come here, we will tell you that mantra by which you will understand the Swarup Siddhi. But Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur tells that the mantra for Swarupa Siddhi is, or our thing is, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorupi Seshnana Vanina Maradena Kirtaniya Siddhari. So if we stick to this principle of humility, tolerance, respecting others and not expecting any respect in return, and always trying to chant the Hare Krishna mantra in this mood of Trinadapi Sunichena, then this is our Swarupa Siddhi mantra for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. By this, automatically our Swarupa will be revealed. Okay. Yes.
Prabhuji, coming to Garuda, I think Garuda Dasaras or
Das. We'll continue. Next. Yes. Yeah. So how Arjuna accepted the Gita? So this is very important because this is the actual spirit of Gita. That the way Arjuna accepted the Gita, Prabhupada tells that we should also accept in the same spirit, right? So in the 10th chapter, Arjuna accepts Krishna as Parabrahma, the Supreme Brahman. This is not a flattery. Somebody may tell that because Arjuna was Krishna's friend, therefore Arjuna is accepting Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. This may be flattery. But Arjuna substantiates his statement by also telling that even great sages like Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. So all these great sages, right? Asita, Devala, Vyasa, all these great sages are also accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, this is a great mystery. Bhagavad Gita must be approached in a spirit of submission, accepting Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, it is very difficult to understand it as it is, right? So therefore, we should accept Krishna as the Supreme. Prabhupada tells in the introduction that we should at least accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead theoretically. This is a must. That theoretically I accept Krishna as Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At least theoretically, I may not understand fully, I may not understand practically, but theoretically, at least if I understand, then only I'll be able to understand the Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, Bhagavad Gita understanding is very, very difficult. Therefore, there are many scholars, there may be many authors who have written Bhagavad Gita, commented Bhagavad Gita. They may know the entire full Bhagavad Gita, but if they don't understand this principle that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and at least they don't accept it theoretically, then whatever they know is useless because they will never be able to understand the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. So Prabhupada further explains now, after explaining the spirit of the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada tells the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita, right? So Prabhupada explains in this section that that actually every living entity in this material world is actually suffering, is in nescience, is in ignorance. Therefore, he is ignorant of his condition. He is ignorant of his eternal relationship with Krishna. Therefore, he is in constant anxiety. He is suffering in this material world, right? So, this is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. Every human being is full of anxieties in material life, just as Arjuna was in difficulty on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So, Arjuna was difficulty in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So, we are also in constant anxiety in this material world. So, just like Arjuna accepted the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and he was freed from the difficulty and he fought the battle of Bhagavad Gita and he became successful. Similarly, even in this material world, even as devotees, we will be in constant anxiety, right? Constant suffering. So if we accept the message of Gita the way Arjuna accepted it as it is, then what will happen is we will become free from that anxiety, or we will become free from the suffering of this material world. So Brahma Jignasa, the beginning of human life. Atato Brahma Jignasa. Human life truly begins when one inquires, why am I suffering? So there is suffering. So who will be called as a human being? He will be called as a human being only when he questions. Prabhupada tells that Krishna, God has given us the ability to question. What is the difference between an animal and a human being? There is a sloka in the Mahabharata. Ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha सामान्यमेतात् पशुभिनराणां धर्मो हि तेषाम् अधिको विशेषो धर्मेण हीना पशुभिः समाना. So there are four things that are common to human beings and animals. that is ahara, nidra, bhaya, maituna, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, right? So both of these are animalistic, they are common in both human beings and animals. And if a human being is just satisfied with these four things, then he is just an animal. So what differentiates a human being when compared to an animal is सामान्य एतात पशुभी नरानाम धर्मो ही तेषाम अधिको विशेषो. What is special in a human being is the ability to perform dharma, the ability to question, right? So this ability to question or ability to discriminate what is good, what is bad, ability to perform dharma, what is good, what is bad, why I am suffering in this material world, why I am forced to die, I don't want to die, but why is death forced upon me, right? And why old age forced upon me. So the ability to question is what differentiates a human being from an animal. Therefore, Prabhupada is telling that when one starts inquiring that why am I suffering in this material world, why am I suffering, where did I come from, where will I go after death, this inquiry is called as Brahma Jignasa, and those who sincerely ask these questions are proper students for understanding the Gita. And we can, as we preach or as we see in the human society, not everyone inquires about this. Not why not everyone inquires about this? Because of his past sukruti. Only when one has past sukruti, then he starts questioning that why I am suffering. Is there a alternative to what I am leading? I am leading a normal life. Is there an alternative to this suffering life? Or is there an alternative life? Is there God? And all these things, questions. These questions can actually differentiate a human being from an animal. And this is called as Brahma Jignasa, right? And the first aphorism of Srimad Bhagavatam, or first aphorism of Vedanta Sutra is Atato Brahma Jignasa. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for human beings, because once you have got this human form of life, now inquire Atato Brahma Jignasa, right? So therefore, those who question that why I'm suffering, where did I come from, where will I go after death, so such students are actually proper students for understanding the Bhagavad Gita. Yes. So this is the next section, 5 basic truths of Bhagavad Gita. So before we begin this, we will read this introduction little bit till there, and then we'll come back. So is this visible introduction, Om Ajnanatimirandasa, or you are still seeing the slides?
Slides, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
somebody has raised hand.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I had a question. So in the beginning, you mentioned that Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to the sun god, and he basically told to Manu, and then it came to Ikshvaku. So my question is, like, Krishna, like, on this planet came like 5,000 years ago. Before, so when the Mahabharata, and we date that Gita was spoken 5,000 years back. So, like, how did Krishna spoke? Because when we talk about speaking to sun god, so sun, like, is the king of planet, and then basically when the creation started, so there the knowledge passes is Mahavishnu, then Brahmaji comes, and then he gets all the knowledge from Vishnu, and then he gives to Narad Muni. Sorry, Narad Muni gives to Vyasdev. So this is how the knowledge passed, throughout the disciple succession.
This is one discipline question, the present one, Gaudiya Vaishnava. So there may be such many discipline questions, and because you can see that we also know that whenever this thing, what is that? Whenever appearance of Lord has to happen, so what happens is Brahmaji takes all the demigods to the milk ocean, right? So the demigods are constantly interacting with the Lord, right? So therefore, disciplic succession, this is one disciplic succession that Prabhupada has mentioned, right? So there can be many other disciplic successions also. And in that, this disciplic succession is one, there where Krishna has spoken the Bhagavad Gita to sun god and sun god to Ikshvaku, or Manu and Ikshvaku. It is like that.
Can we get more details, like, somewhere about this disciple succession anywhere?
I'll find out and let you know, maybe in next class. Give me some time.
Okay. Yes, please.
Yes. Thank you. Any other questions, or we'll start reading this till the 5 is.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, sometimes people tell that as we are following in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, we are in Madhurya Ras Upasak. So other sampradayas, some flow like Dasya Bhav or other Bhav. They do also bhakti, but someone claims that this sampradaya is or it hasn't like Madhurya Ras. This is lower, this is higher. So how to defend them like
How to
tell that all these sampradayas goal is to devotion, not lower or higher. Someone is upasak, Madhurya upasak, or someone is Dasya Bhav.
Yeah. See, generally, the rasas, if you see, Prabhupada also mentions, if you read Prabhupada books, you'll understand that Shant ras has only Shant in it. Das ras has Dasya plus Santa. And then comes, what is that? Then comes Sakya ras, which has Sakya, Dasya, and Shanta. And then comes Vatsalya, which has Vatsalya, Sakya. Matlab, it is already this, the feelings of the below are already included in it, right? So in that case, you can consider that there is a succession, or you can tell that the Madhurya Rasa devotees are superior to Vatsalya or to Sakya or Dasya or Shanta. So we need not explain anything to anyone, but we should understand that our perfection, Gaudiya Vaishnava perfection, is to reach Madhurya Bhav, right? But since we don't know what we are, or presently, we should understand that I should practice Dasya, and eventually, if Krishna wills, if Guru's mercy is there, then eventually, what is my what is that rasa in the spiritual world will be automatically revealed. Is this okay?
Okay, bro.
Yeah. So we'll continue with the introduction. Yeah. Somebody can read this. Yeah, with the prayers, the translation of the prayers.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my most humble obeisances unto your lotus feet.
Hare Krishna.
May I, Prabhu?
Yes, you can start with I was born in the darkest of ignorance.
Okay. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who established within this material world the mission of to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet?
Yes, continue.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami along with his elder brother Sanatan Goswami, as well as Raghunath Das and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopal Bhatta and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna, Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Srivasa and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna along with their associates, Sri Lalita and Vishakha. Oh, my dear Krishna, ocean of mercy, you are the friend of the distressed and source of creation. You are the master of the cowherd man and the lover of the gopis, especially Srimati Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold and who is the queen of Vrindavan, who you are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are dear to Lord Krishna, very dear to Lord Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desire of everyone just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen soul. I offer my obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivas, and all others in the line of devotion.
Yeah. Yes.
Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gita-Upanishad. It is the essence of Vedic knowledge and one of the most important Upanishad in Vedic literature. Of course, there are many commentaries in the essence in commentaries in English on the Bhagavad Gita, and one may question the necessity for another one. This present edition can be explained in the following way. Recently, an American lady asked me to recommend an English translation of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, in America, there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita available in English. But as far as I have seen, not only in America but also in India, none of them can be strictly said to be authoritative, because in almost every one of them, the commentator has expressed his own opinions without touching the spirit of Bhagavad Gita as it is. The spirit of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. It is just like this. If we want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the direction written on the label. We cannot take the medicine according to our own whims or the direction of a friend. It must be taken according to the direction on the label or the direction given by the physician. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita should be taken or accepted as it is directed by the speaker himself. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Sri Krishna. He is mentioned on every page of Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagwan. Of course, the word Bhagwan sometimes refers to any powerful person or any powerful demigods. And certainly here, Bhagwan designates Lord Sri Krishna as the great personality. But at the same time, we should know that Lord Sri Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, as is confirmed by all great acharyas, spiritual masters like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many other authorities of Vedic knowledge in India. The Lord himself also establishes himself as the supreme personality of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita, and he is accepted as such in the Brahma Samhita and all the Puranas, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Bhagavad Puran, Krishna's to Bhagwan Swayam. Therefore, we should take Bhagavad Gita as it is directed by the personality of Godhead himself. In the fourth chapter of the Gita, 4.1 to 3, the Lord says, do you have to read the shloka, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Imam vivashvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivashvan manave praha manur ikshvake abravit evam parampara praptam imam rajrasho vidhu sakale neha mahata yoga nasta parantapa sa evayam mayete yoga prokta puratanaha bhaktosi me sakha chete rahasyam he etad uttamam. Here, the Lord informs Arjun that this system of yoga, the Bhagavad Gita, was first spoken to the sun god, and the sun god explained it to Manu, and Manu explained it to Ikshvaku, and in that way, by disciplic succession, one speaker after another, this yoga system has been coming down, but in the course of time, it has become lost. Consequently, the Lord has to speak it again, this time to Arjun on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He tells Arjun that he is relating this supreme secret to him because Arjun is his devotee and his friend. The purport of this is that Bhagavad Gita is a treatise which is especially meant for the devotee of the Lord.
Yes. So if we are not devotees of the Lord, either in one of the relationships, then we will not be able to understand the Bhagavad Gita, because the Bhagavad Gita is meant for devotees, right? Yeah.
There are three classes of transcendentalists, namely the Jnanis, the Yogis, the Yogi, and the Bhakta, or the impersonalists, the meditators, and the devotees. Here, the Lord clearly tells Arjun that he is making him the first receiver of new parampara disciplic succession because the old succession was broken. It was the Lord's wish, therefore, to establish another parampara in the same line of thoughts that was coming down from sun god to Ada. And it was his wish that his teaching be distributed anew by Arjun. He wanted Arjun to become the authority in understanding the Bhagavad Gita. So we see the Bhagavad Gita is instructed to Arjun especially because Arjun was a devotee of the Lord, a direct student of Krishna, and his intimate friend. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is best understood by a person who has qualities similar to Arjuna's. That is to say, he must be a devotee in a direct relationship with the Lord. As soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he also has direct relationship with the Lord. That is very elaborate subject matter, but briefly, it can be stated that the devotee is in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in one of the 5 different ways. One may be a devotee in a passive state. One may be a devotee in an active state. Third, one may be a devotee as a friend. Fourth, one may be a devotee as a parent. Fifth, one may be a devotee as a conjugal lover. Arjun was in a relationship with the Lord as friend. Of course, there is a gulf difference between this friendship and the friendship. And the friendship found in this material world.
Yeah, somebody else can continue. Some other devotee.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can I continue, Prabhu?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
This is transcendental friendship, which cannot be had by everyone. Of course, everyone has a particular relationship with the Lord, and that relationship is evoked by the perfection of devotional service. But in the present status of our life, not only have we forgotten the Supreme Lord, but we have forgotten our eternal relationship with the Lord. Every living being out of the many billions and trillions of living beings has a particular relationship with the Lord eternally. That is called Swarupa. By the process of devotional service, one can revive that Swarupa, and that stage is called Swarupa Siddhi. The perfection of one's constitutional position. So Arjuna was a devotee, and he was in touch with the Supreme Lord in friendship. How Arjuna accepted Bhagavad Gita should be noted. His manner of acceptance is given in the 10th chapter.
Arjuna
10 point.
Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahastvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshi Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasah Swayam Chaiva Bravishime Sarvametadritam Manye Yanma Madashikeshava Nahi Te Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidur Deva Nadanava. Yes, continue, Pro. Translation.
Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. After
Yes.
hearing,
So 3 things to note here, that Arjuna is accepting Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is substantiating his statement by telling that all these great sages are accepting him as Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore now Arjuna is ready to accept whatever Krishna tells totally as truth, right? Whatever Krishna has told, he is ready to accept it as truth. And further, Arjuna is telling that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is so great. To understand his personality is not easy, and even demigods, neither the great demigods, neither the demons can understand the personality. So what to speak of us, right? So examples of demigods not understanding Krishna and Supreme Personality of Godhead, examples are Indra did not understand, therefore there was Govardhan Leela, and Brahmaji himself did not understand, therefore there was Brahma Vimohan Leela, right? And also many times Lord Shiva fought with Krishna, right? That was a Leela. Lord Shiva also fought with Krishna. So we can understand that it is very difficult to understand Krishna's personality, right?
can I continue, Prabhu? Can I continue the reading?
1 minute, Prabhu. उनके घर पे गए, पुरसुंगी भाई के घर पे कल गए थे. Yes, bro, continue.
After hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna accepted Krishna as Param Brahma, the Supreme Brahman. Every living being is Brahman, but the Supreme living being or the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Brahman. Paramdhama means that he is the supreme rest or abode of everything. Pavitram means that he is pure, untainted by material contamination. Purusham means that he is the supreme enjoyer. Shashwatam, original. Divyam, transcendental. Adidevam, the supreme personality of Godhead. Ajam, the unborn. And Vibhum, the greatest.
Yes.
Now one may think that because Krishna was the friend of Arjuna, Arjuna was telling him all this by way of flattery. But Arjuna, just to drive out this kind of doubt from the minds of the readers of Bhagavad Gita, substantiates these praises in the next verse when he says that Krishna is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead not only by himself but by authorities like Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasadeva. These great personalities who distribute the Vedic knowledge as it is accepted by all acharyas. Therefore, Arjuna tells the Krishna that he accepts whatever he says to be completely perfect. Sarvam etat ritham manye. I accept everything you say to be true. Arjuna also says that the personality of the Lord is very difficult to understand and that he cannot be known even by the great demigod. This means that the Lord cannot even be known by the personalities greater than human beings. So, how can a human being understand Lord Krishna without becoming his devotee?
Yes, somebody else can continue. Some other devotee.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yes, Madhu.
Therefore, Bhagavad Gita should be taken up to the spirit of devotion. One should not think that he is equal to Krishna, nor should he think that Krishna is the ordinary personality or even a great personality. Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So, according to the statements of Bhagavad Gita or the statements of Arjuna, the person who is trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita, we should at least vertically accept the Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. And with that submissive spirit, we can understand the Bhagavad Gita. Unless one reads the Bhagavad Gita in the submissive spirit, it is very difficult to understand the Bhagavad Gita because it is a great mystery. What is the Bhagavad Gita? The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from the nuisance of the material existence. Every man is in the difficulty in so many ways, as Arjuna also was in the difficulty in having to fight with the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna surrendered unto the Sri Krishna, and consequently, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Not only Arjuna, but every one of us in full of anxieties because of this material existence. Our very existence in this atmosphere of non-existence. Actually, we are not meant to be threatened by non-existence. Our existence is eternal, but somehow or other, we are put into asat. Asat refers to that which does not exist.
Yeah, just 1 minute here. So what one important point that the Prabhupada is making here is that every one of us is full of anxieties because of this material existence. Our existence is in the atmosphere of non-existence. Actually, we are not meant to be threatened by non-existence because actually we are eternal. We are Sat. But now why we are full of anxieties? Because basically we are identifying ourselves with Asat. We are actually Sat. We are spirit soul. Part and parcel of Krishna. So we are not meant to be full of anxieties. Our natural existence or our natural condition is to be Satchidananda, to be full of bliss. But why we are in full of anxieties? Because we are identifying ourselves with this material world. We are identifying ourselves with this body, right? So as long as we are in this material world, identifying ourselves with the material body, there will be a lot of problems, there will be a lot of troubles, there will be a lot of confusions. So this is a part of life. This is part of this material existence. So therefore, we should not be discouraged while we are facing problems in this material world. We should not be discouraged while we should not get frustrated. We should understand that this is how life is in this material world, right? So as long as it don't become a pure devotee, right, the life will be full of problems. The life will be full of anxieties, and it will not be that we should not expect that that there will be a life which will be free of problems as long as we are in the middle world. That can happen once we become a pure devotee. Even if we become pure devotee, externally there will be problems, like just like you can see in life of Prabhupada or even in the life of spiritual masters. But internally they are blissful because they are always taking shelter of Krishna. So there will be always be problems, there will always be troubles. So that should not shake up our faith. We should not think that oh, now I'm trying to become a devotee, so why these problems are coming? If problems are coming, implies that Krishna does not exist, or what Bhagavad Gita is speaking is false. But clearly it is spoken in the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada is clearly telling that this material world is full of anxieties. So anxieties will be there, but we should not become discouraged by the anxieties, and we should faithfully continue whatever a spiritual master has told, whatever vows we have taken, and we should faithfully continue. And sometimes there will be problems. There will be problems even in fulfilling our vows, but we should understand that I should continue practicing my spiritual life, right? Without getting discouraged. I should not stop chanting Hare Krishna. I should not stop following the four regular principles, reading a Prabhupada books, taking a prasadam. This all, whatever problems are there, all these things should continue peacefully, right? Yeah, continue.
Out of so many human beings who are suffering, there are few who are actually inquiring about their position, as to what they are, why they are put into this awkward position, and so on. Unless one is awakened to this position of questioning his sufferings, unless he has realized that he doesn't want suffering, but rather he wants to make a solution to all sufferings, then one is not to be considered a perfect human being. Humanity begins when this sort of inquiry is awakened in one's mind. In the Brahma Sutra, this inquiry is called Brahma Jigyasa, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Every activity of the human being is to be considered a failure unless he inquires about the nature of the Absolute. Therefore, those who begin to question why they are suffering, or where they came from, and where they shall go after the death, and are proper students for understanding Bhagavad Gita. The sincere student should also have a firm respect to the supreme personality of Godhead. Such a student was Arjuna. Lord Krishna descends specifically to re-establish the real purpose of life. When man forgets that purpose, even then, out of many, many human beings who awaken, there may be one who actually enters the spirit of understanding his position. And for him, the Bhagavad Gita is spoken. Actually, we are all swallowed by the tigress of the nations, but the Lord is very merciful upon the living entities, especially human beings. To this end, he spoke the Bhagavad Gita, making his friend Arjuna as his students. Being an associate of Lord Krishna, Arjuna was above all ignorance, but Arjuna was put into ignorance on the battlefield of Kurukshetra just to question Lord Krishna about the problems of life, so that the Lord could explain them for the benefit of future generations of human beings and chalk out the plan of life. Then man could act accordingly and perfect the missions of human life. The
Yes.
subject of the
Yes, Mataji. So till here we have completed. So we'll continue with the slides. So here Prabhupada is clearly explaining that Arjuna actually is a eternal associate of the Lord. So therefore he is not meant to be put in ignorance. So he is just taking that position so that Krishna actually could speak this jewel of Bhagavad Gita, or the jewel of the Vedic knowledge, to us so that we can understand. So we have to always understand that above Arjuna being a pure devotee to the Lord, being an eternal associate of Lord Krishna, is above all ignorance, right? Yes. So anybody has any questions till here, till now, or we will continue further? I'll continue discussing. Yes. Yeah, this is a very important thing to understand, that Bhagavad Gita basically discusses 5 basic truths of the Bhagavad Gita, right? Prabhupada is explaining here that these are 5 basic truths of Bhagavad Gita. What are they? Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma, right? Ishvara means the supreme controller, that is not Krishna, right? Jiva means the living entities, which are the superior Prakriti, right? The living entities which are actually the controlled is under the control of the Lord. Prakriti, the material nature, the inferior Prakriti, right? Krishna tells Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate Sachara Hetu Nanena Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate, that the material nature is working Maya Dakshena, under my Adhyakshena, under my control, right? Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate Sachara, right? So Prakriti, material nature, is working under the direction of Krishna. Kala, eternal time, which is controlling, which is another manifestation of Krishna, is controlling all the living entities, the entire Prakriti also. And karma, the activities and the reactions. So here, four are eternal: Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, and Kala. And the karma is not eternal. Prabhupada will be explaining it in the purport. How many people tells that what is that? Jagan Mithya, right? That actually this material nature is actually Mithya, false. But Prabhupada explains how this is not false. Its manifestations may be temporary, but actually Prakriti, being energy of Krishna, is not false, or it is not, what is that? It is also eternal. So Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, and Kala are eternal, whereas karma can be changed, right? Karma and its effects can be changed through perfect knowledge. Prabhupada explains. Yes. So Prabhupada further explains that the living entity's nature. The living entities are parts and parcels of Supreme Lord. Like a particle of gold is also gold. A drop of ocean water is also salty. We have all the qualities of the Lord, but in minute quantity. So we are qualitatively one with the Lord, but quantitatively we are different. We have the tendency to control material nature, but we are not the supreme controller, right? So the tendency to control material nature is coming from where? It is coming from Krishna itself. So Jiva is the superior Prakriti, whereas Prakriti is the inferior nature, right? The three modes and time. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, ignorance. Above these modes is eternal time, and through their combination arises the activity is called as karma. So Krishna, or God, as a controller behind creation. Just as a sane man knows there is a driver behind an automobile, there is a supreme controller behind the entire cosmic manifestation. But a child who doesn't have knowledge, child may see automobile and may see that it is automatically happening, automatically running. Similarly, when the scientists see the material nature working, so they think that the material nature there is no God present. Therefore, they tell that God does not exist. Everything is run by the material nature, or everything is energy. Basically, scientists tell that everything is run by the energy. That is, basically everything is run by Prakriti, and there is no energetic. But why they speak like this? Because they're all childish, because they don't take knowledge from a spiritual master, they don't take knowledge from Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, they are all childish people, and a child does not understand. Krishna Prabhupada explains how a child, when he sees an automobile, sees that automobile is running independently. But a person, sane man who is grown, who is mature, understands that automobile is not running independently, but it is running under the supervision of a driver. Similarly, this entire cosmic manifestation, or the Prakriti, is working under the direction of the supreme controller of Krishna. Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate Sachara Hetunanena Kauteya Jagat Viparivartate. So nothing can be manifested without being controlled. The Lord declares this material nature is working under my direction. So Prabhupada also gives the stomach analogy. Just as all parts of the body must cooperate to feed the stomach, all living entities must cooperate with the supreme enjoyer, Lord Krishna. The living entities are his parts and parcels, meant to cooperate with him, not to imitate him as creator and enjoyer. Only then does the entire system work harmoniously and happily. Otherwise, if we do not cooperate with Lord's desire, Lord's desires, if we do not cooperate how the Lord wants this material world to work, then what will happen is we will suffer. Just like if all the organs tell that why we should feed the stomach, we are only working, right? So then what will happen? Eventually, all the organs themselves will become weak, because unless and until food goes to the stomach, the root, what will happen is we will not derive strength, the organs. And similarly, yata taror mula asheshanena, that unless and until you put water in the root, right, all the parts will not be nourished. As soon as you put water in the root, all the parts of the tree will automatically get nourished, right? But if you put water to each leaf and each flower, all the parts will not get nourished, right? Similarly, if we do not serve Krishna, if we do not accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead and serve him, what will happen is we cannot be happy and the world cannot be happy. Yeah. So this is we'll discuss here till here. Prabhupada is very nicely explaining further in this 5 basic truths. Yes. Somebody can read? The subject of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, Pujay, am I audible?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
The subject of the Bhagavad Gita initials the comprehension of 5 basic truths. First of all, the science of God is explained, and then the constitutional position of the living entity, jivas. There is Ishvara, which means the controller, and there are jivas, the living entities which are controlled. If a living entity says that he is not controlled by that is not controlled, but that he is free, then he is insane. The living being is controlled in every respect, at least in his conditioned life.
Yes. So this is very important to understand that as long as we think that we are free, we are not controlled, then we are insane. And many people in the material world, those who are not devotees, many people think that they're actually free. They can do anything they want, and they're not actually controlled because they don't believe in God. So nobody is there to object them that why you're doing this and why. They can do whatever they want. They can break anything, any regulatory principles, and they can do anything. But actually, Prabhupada tells them to be insane. Similarly, as long as we also have because we are not pure devotees, we also have a tendency to think that I am not controlled. I can do whatever I like, right? So as long as we think like that, we will also be insane, right? Yes. So we have to become sane. And how can we become sane? By reading of Prabhupada books, by chanting very nicely. Today's Ekadashi, we can chant more rounds, right? So therefore, these are things which will make us sane. The philosophy, the Vaishnava etiquette, devotee's mercy, that is what will make us sane. And it will take lifetime, right? It will not take maybe not one lifetime, it will take 2 lifetimes, 3 lifetimes. So this is what is Krishna consciousness. This Krishna consciousness will make us sane. Yeah.
So in the Bhagavad Gita, the subject matter deals with the Ishvara, the supreme controller, and the jivas, the controlled living entities. Prakriti, material nature, and the time, the duration of existence of the whole universe, or the manifestation of material nature and karma, activity, are also discussed. The cosmic manifestation of full of different activities. All living entities are engaged in different activities. From Bhagavad Gita, we must learn what God is, what the living entities are, what Prakriti is, what the cosmic manifestation is, how it is controlled by time, and what the activities of living entities are. Out of these 5 basic subject matters in Bhagavad Gita, it is established that the Supreme Godhead, or Krishna, or Brahman, or the Supreme Controller, or Paramatma, you may use whatever name you like, is the great of all. The living beings are in quality like the Supreme Controller. For instance, the Lord has control over the universal affairs of the material nature as well we explained in the later chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Material nature is not independent. She is acting under the directions of the Supreme Lord. As Lord Krishna says, Maya Yakshena Prakriti Suyutescha Charascharam. The material nature is working under my direction. When we see wonderful things happening in the cosmic nature, we should know that behind this cosmic manifestation, there is a controller. Nothing would be manifested without being controlled. It is childish not to consider the controller. For instance, a child may think that the automobile is quite wonderful to be able to run without a horse or other animal pulling it. But a sane man knows the nature of the automobile engineering arrangement. He always knows that behind the machinery there is a man, a driver. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the driver under whose direction everything is working. Now, the jivas or the living entities have been accepted by the Lord, as we will note in the later chapters. As his part and parcel, uh, a practical of gold is also gold, a drop of water from the ocean is also salty, and similarly, we, the living entities, being part and parcel of the Supreme Controller, Ishvara or Bhagwan, Lord Sri Krishna, have also the qualities of the Supreme Lord in the minute quantity. Because we are minute, subordinate Ishvara. We are trying to control nature, as presently we are trying to control the space or planets, and this tendency to control is there because it is in Krishna. But although we have a tendency to lord it over material nature, we should know that we are not the supreme controller. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita. What is material nature?
Yeah, somebody else can continue.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, may I?
No. Somebody else. Already I read Prabhu. There are so many devotees now. Satyavat Prabhu.
Yes.
Padho, jaldi padho.
What is material nature? This is also explained in the Gita as inferior prakriti, inferior nature. The living entity is explained as the superior prakriti. Prakriti is always under control, whether inferior or superior. Prakriti is female and she is controlled by the Lord, just as the activities of the wife are controlled by the husband. Prakriti is always subordinate, predominated by the Lord. Who is predominator? The living entities and the material nature are both predominated, controlled by the Supreme Lord. According to the Gita, the living entities, although part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, are to be considered Prakriti. This is clearly mentioned in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Aparemeyam itastvam anyam prakritim vidime param jiva bhutam. This material nature is my inferior Prakriti, but beyond this is another Prakriti, Jiva Bhutam, the living entities. Material nature itself is constituted by three qualities: the mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Above these modes, there is an eternal time, and by a combination of these modes of nature and under the control and purview of eternal time, there are activities which are called karma. These activities are being carried out from time immemorial, and we are suffering or enjoying the fruits of our activities. For instance, suppose I am a businessman and have worked very hard with intelligence and have amassed a great bank balance. Then I am an enjoyer. But then say I have lost all my money in business, then I am a sufferer. Similarly, in every field of life, we enjoy the result of our work, or we suffer the results. This is called karma. Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, Jiva, the living entities, Prakriti, nature, Kala, eternal time, and karma, activities, are all explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Out of these five, the Lord, the living entities, the material nature, and the time are eternal. The manifestation of Prakriti may be temporary, but it is not false. Some philosophers say that the manifestation of material nature is false. But according to philosophy of Bhagavad Gita or according to philosophy of Vaishnavas, this is not so. The manifestation of the world is not accepted as false. It is accepted as a real but temporary. It is likened unto a cloud which moves across the sky, or coming of the rainy season, which nourishes grains. As soon as the rainy season is over, and as soon as the cloud goes away, all the crops which were nourished by the rain dry up. Similarly, this material manifestation takes place at a certain interval, stays for a while, and then disappears. Such are the workings of Prakriti, but this cycle is working eternally. Therefore, Prakriti is eternal, it is not false. The Lord refers to this as a Maya Prakriti. This material nature is separated energy of the Supreme Lord. And similarly, the living entities are also the energy of the Supreme Lord, although they are not separated but eternally related. So the Lord, the living entities, material nature, and the time are all interrelated and are all eternal. However, the other item, karma, is not eternal. The effects of karma may be very good, old indeed. We are suffering or enjoying the results of our activities from time immemorial, but we can change the result of our karma or our activity, and this change depends on the perfection of our knowledge. We are engaged in various activities. Undoubtedly, we don't know what sort of activities we should adopt to gain relief from the actions and reactions of all these activities, but this is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. The position of Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, is that of Supreme Consciousness. The Jivas or living entities, being parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord, are also conscious. Both the living entity and the material nature are explained as Prakriti, the energy of the Supreme Lord, but one of the two, the Jiva, is conscious. The other Prakriti is not conscious. That is the difference. Therefore, the Jiva Prakriti is called superior because the Jiva has consciousness which is similar to the Lord's. The Lord's is the Supreme Consciousness, however, and one should not claim that the Jiva, the living entity, is also supremely conscious. The living being can't be supremely conscious at any stage of his perfection. And the theory is that he can be so is a misleading theory. Conscious he may be, but he is not perfectly or supremely conscious. The distinction between the Jiva and the Ishvara will be...
Yeah, somebody else can continue. Somebody else can read. Some other devotee.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, shall I read?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu.
The distinction between the Jiva and the Ishvara will be explained in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord is Kshetrajnana, conscious, as is the living being, but the living being is conscious of his particular body, whereas the Lord is conscious of all bodies. Because he lives in the heart of every living being, he is conscious of the psychic movements of the particular Jivas. We should not forget this. It is also explained that the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is living in everyone's heart as Ishvara, as the controller, and that he is giving directions for the living entity to act as he desires. The living entity forgets what to do. First of all, he makes a determination to act in a certain way, and then he is entangled in the actions and reactions of his own karma. After giving up one type of body, he enters another type of body as we take off and put on clothes. As the soul thus migrates, he suffers the actions and reactions of his past activities. These activities can be changed when the living being is in the mode of goodness, insanity, and understands what sort of activities he should adopt. If he does so, then all the actions and reactions of his past activities can be changed. Consequently, karma is not eternal. Therefore, we stated that of the 5 items, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, time, and karma, 4 are eternal, whereas karma is not eternal.
Yeah, this is very important to understand that karma is not eternal, whereas the 4 items are eternal. And Prabhupada is saying that these activities can be changed when the living entity is in the mode of goodness. So therefore, before the flight takes off, right, before we board on the flight, first thing what we need to do is we need to come to the airport. That is what is the mode of goodness. Then only we will be able to take off to transcendental goodness, right? Therefore, if you want to become sane, if you want to come to sanity, if you want to give up all our crazy things that we think and do, so we should at least try to come to the mode of goodness, right? The mode of goodness begins by following our 4 regulated principles, chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, associating with devotees, getting up regularly early in the morning and trying to attend the temple program, or the same program can be emulated at home, right? So this is what will bring us to the mode of goodness. What we eat, what we see, what we hear, right? What inputs we are giving, that is what will decide what mode we'll go into, right? Therefore, if we eat mode of goodness items, if we hear and if we see, if we give input that those are in the mode of goodness, so eventually the senses, the mind, the intelligence, everything will come in the mode of goodness, right? Yes, continue.
The Supreme Conscious Ishvara is similar to the living entity in this way. Both the consciousness of the Lord and that of the living entity are transcendental. It is not that consciousness is generated by the association of matter. That is a mistaken idea. The theory that consciousness develops under certain circumstances of material combination is not accepted in the Bhagavad Gita. Consciousness may be pervertedly reflected by the covering of material circumstances, just as light reflected through colored glass may appear to be a certain color, but the consciousness of the Lord is not materially affected. Lord Krishna says, Mayadakshena Prakriti, Bhagavad Gita 9.10. When he descends into the material universe, his consciousness is not materially affected. If he were so affected, he would be unfit to speak on transcendental matters as he does in the Bhagavad Gita. One cannot say anything about the transcendental world without being free from materially contaminated consciousness. So the Lord is not materially contaminated. Our consciousness at the present moment, however, is materially contaminated. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that we have to purify this materially contaminated consciousness. In pure consciousness, our actions will be dovetailed to the will of Ishvara, and that will make us happy. It is not that we have to cease all activities. Rather, our activities are to be purified, and purified activities are called bhakti. Activities in bhakti appear to be like ordinary activities, but they are not contaminated. An ignorant person may see that a devotee is acting or working like an ordinary man, but such a person with a poor fund of knowledge does not know that the activities of the devotee or of the Lord are not contaminated by impure consciousness or matter. They are transcendental to the three modes of nature. We should know, however, at this point. No, can you scroll down?
Yeah.
At this point, our consciousness is contaminated.
Yes. So Prabhupada in this paragraph and previous paragraph mainly explains the difference in consciousness between the Supreme Lord and the living entities, right? Somebody can tell me what differences Prabhupada mentioned in this paragraph and the previous paragraph between the consciousness of the Supreme Ishvara and the consciousness of Jiva. Differences.
Like Jiva consciousness is affected by these modes of material nature, Prabhu, but Lord consciousness will not get. Lord consciousness is always transcendental, Prabhu. That will not get any effect by the modes of material nature.
So what Prabhupada told that consciousness of the Lord is not materially affected, but whereas the consciousness of the living entity is materially affected. Therefore, our consciousness is presently contaminated, and for that, what we should do, because our consciousness
Do the bhakti.
Hare Krishna, Shri Gaur Bhakt Prabhu. We are not. Your voice is not audible, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Shri.
Yes, true. Somebody can, yeah.
Prabhuji, your voice is not audible. Like what you spoken, we not understood anything. Also, not understood anything, Prabhuji. Like you are mentioning something regarding consciousness now, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So now we have understood that. Now, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
now we are.
Yes. So now you mentioned the difference between the consciousness of the living entity and the consciousness of Ishvara or the Supreme Ishvara, that he is not materially affected and we are materially affected. So now my question is, now our consciousness is contaminated. So how can we purify that consciousness? Prabhupada told in this paragraph. How can we purify that consciousness?
Our actions to be doubted with the Ishvara.
Yes. Our actions to be doubted with Ishvara. So our activities have to be purified, and those purified activities are called as bhakti, right? So this performance of bhakti will purify our contaminated consciousness. And initially, for an ignorant person, even these activities of bhakti, maybe he may see that it is tainted by the modes of material nature, because it may seem that a person is a devotee is also eating, a outside person is also eating, he is also getting married, producing children, right? He is also sleeping. So devotee is also doing the same things, and outside person is also doing the same things. So how can we tell that he is performing bhakti? But because it is connected to Krishna, that is what it makes, because it is instructed by the spiritual master, that is what makes the difference. And that is what the potency in the activities may seem similar like a karmi, but because it is connected to Krishna, because it is instructed by a spiritual master, instruction of the spiritual master connects the activities to Krishna, right? So therefore, that is what makes the difference, and that is what has the potency to purify our consciousness, right? Yes.
Oh, you
What?
said like another one is also there.
Yeah, this is one thing. And what is the other thing? That is in the previous paragraph. What is that difference?
Is that living entity is aware of things happening like in their own body and mind, but Lord is aware of everyone, like what is happening in everyone's body and mind,
Yes.
like
So
the consciousness.
yeah, correct. Supremely Krishna is supremely conscious, whereas we are not supremely conscious. That is what Prabhupada also mentions in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Kshetrajna, both are Kshetrajna. We are conscious, but I am conscious only of my body, whereas Krishna, being supreme conscious, basically entire world is his body, right? So therefore, he is conscious of his body. That is, he is conscious of not only my body, he's conscious of every living entity's body, and not only every living entity's body, but he is conscious of the entire creation, because entire creation is his body, right? Yeah. Continue. Somebody else can continue. Purushottam bro, you only can continue. Please read this paragraph, because time is less.
When
Yes.
we are materially contaminated, we are called conditioned. False consciousness is exhibited under the impression that I am a product of material nature. This is called false ego. One who is absorbed in the thought of bodily conceptions cannot understand his situation. Bhagavad Gita was spoken to liberate one from the bodily conception of life, and Arjuna put himself in this position in order to receive this information from the Lord. One must become free from the bodily conception of life. That is a preliminary activity for the transcendentalist. One who wants to become free, who wants to become liberated, must first of all learn that he is not this material body. Mukti or liberation means freedom from material consciousness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, also the definition of liberation is given. Muktir hitvanyata rupam swarupena vyavastitihi. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.10.6. Mukti means liberation from the contaminated consciousness of this material world and situation in pure consciousness. All the instructions of Bhagavad Gita are intended to awaken this pure consciousness, and therefore we find at the last stage of the Gita's instructions that Krishna is asking Arjuna whether he is now in purified consciousness. Purified consciousness means acting in accordance with the instructions of the Lord. This is the whole sum and substance of purified consciousness. Consciousness is already there because we are part and parcel of the Lord, but for us there is the affinity of being affected by the inferior moods. But the Lord, being the Supreme, is never affected. That is the difference between the Supreme Lord and the small individual souls.
Yeah. So we will stop here. We'll continue from here in the tomorrow's class. So you can see in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada has discussed many basic topics or fundamentals. So therefore, it is very, very important to understand all these things. What is the difference between supreme consciousness? What is the difference between supreme consciousness and the consciousness of Jiva, right? And what is mukti, right? Mukti ritma netarupam sarupena vivastitihi. It is liberation from the contaminated consciousness of the material world and situation in pure consciousness. Mukti does not mean merging our existence in the existence of the Lord, right? Mukti means that we become liberated from the contaminated consciousness. I'm thinking that I'm body, I'm this, I'm that. Becoming liberated from all this consciousness is actually liberation, right? and what are the 5 basic truths, right? So Prabhupada has explained in detail about this Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma, which one is eternal, which one is not eternal, right? So therefore, this is the fundamentals. So you can go through this again and again and try to understand what Prabhupada is trying to explain in this. And then we will be able to we will become sane, right? This is what will make us sane. We will become situated in the mode of goodness. And that is what will make performance of bhakti easy, right? Only when we come to the mode of goodness, right, these activities, transcendental activities will become easier. Now, why performance of bhakti is difficult? Why we tell that chanting is difficult? We cannot sit, we cannot read here, because we are not in the mode of goodness. So at least first step is to come to the mode of goodness, right? And then things will eventually start becoming easier. Yes. Anybody has any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll stop here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, please share that PPT also, Prabhuji, what you presented today, showing that Ishvara, Jiva, Kala, Karma, and Prakriti, all those things. Like,
Yeah, once the introduction gets over, then I'll share that.
okay, Prabhuji.
Maybe tomorrow we'll try to complete this instruction and then I'll share that. Okay?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Any other questions? Okay. Satyavrat Prabhu, please put that attendance policies once
Yes,
again.
sir.
So everyone is reminded.